Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the His and Hers The Truth podcast. Hey guys, when you're here, please subscribe to the channel, right? There's still so many shadow watchers out there. Stop shadow watching, if my wife would say all the time. Guys, if you guys have watched our show a few more times, right? A handful of times, if you guys have spread the truth, debunked the lies out there, do us a huge solid, subscribe to the channel real quick, just something real quick about my wife. Guys, her schedule is starting to get filled up with all, the extracurricular activities with our kids, with her school volunteering and everything like that. So just real quick, just be aware that, she's not going to be completely gone from the show, but I will be providing, I'll be shooting more content with me just in it by myself. But of course, like I said, when she can join me, we will produce content with her here as well. Guys, smash that like button. Obviously, comment and share. We love every comment. Bad, negative, or criticisms, or obviously, suggestions. If you guys want to see something, just let us know, or us reacting to something. We love the comments, so we'll take it and hopefully react to a video that you guys suggest. The other thing too is check out our channel over at TikTok at His and Hers YT. And lastly, of course, I always say, share the truth, spread the truth, right? Debunk the lies. All right, guys, thank you so much. Let's get into it. I am going to be doing another reaction video today, and I'm actually kind of excited to this one. I have not seen this video yet, at least not 100% of it. And it has Preach from ABBA and Preach on it. And the title of the video is He is Manipulating Women. Wow. And it says at ABBA and Preach on Andrew Tate. Okay, I'm gonna see how he thinks Andrew Tate is manipulating women. So I'm very interested to see what his comments are. Let's begin.
Let's talk about Tate for a second. So I agree with probably 90% of what Andrew Tate says. Okay, I don't know if I agree with 90% of what most people say, because I think he generally stands for male improvement, self-improvement, accountability, not feeling sorry for yourself, positivity. But then there's some things that's like, I don't know about that, Tate. I'd probably word that a little bit differently. But why? Of course, I'm not going to agree with everything that someone has said. You said that he actually says a lot of things, and there's a reason that there's a place for him in the marketplace.
The base of what he said, it comes. You have to watch where it comes from. So that's why I'm like,
What's your percentage of agreements and disagreements to him?
I haven't said again. I haven't seen everything, so I can't really answer.
Well,
But
from
I'd say
what you do
70,
see.
70 to 80.
So you mostly agree with him. Well, let me get your
And-
thoughts on Tate.
And that's the thing. There's a reason why I'm saying I don't think he should have been the platform.
No.
But then again, I cannot even like I have a pod. It's in French, so you're probably gonna watch that. But I have a podcast on sexuality. Okay.
Okay, real
Talks
quick.
about
Let
different
me.
topics and everything and stuff.
Okay, guys. So I want to talk something about how anytime someone talks about Andrew Tate, and most YouTubers, most content creators talk about Andrew Tate, they always try to state the fact that they agree with him because of this specific reason. And it's always mentioned about how, he's generally talking about men needing to become better, male improvement, helping men become better men, higher value men, right? Guys, why do we always focus on that being the reason why we enjoy or appreciate or agree with Mr. Tate, right? Why is that we are so scared to say that he's also pointing out the flaws of the modern woman, right? And I think this is the other thing too, like, Adam was saying, well, I agree with 90% of what he says. I agree with the majority of, like, more than so than most other people I know. But, there's this 10%, maybe 5% what I don't agree with. Well, what is that? Is it the fact that he's saying uncomfortable truths about women that you guys don't want to hear? I mean, are we living in such a feminist, gynocentric society now and living in such fear that we cannot say the uncomfortable truths of how the modern woman is no longer qualified as wives, right? Why do we have to say, oh, well, Andrew Tate's a good guy because he's, just saying, men, have to become better? Why can't we say, hey, Andrew Tate's a good guy because he's actually revealing negative truths about women? which, like, shout out to the Godfather, Rollo Tomasi. He brings this up all the time, right? He just works here. He always says that, right? Hey, I just work here. I'm just telling you guys these stats. And it doesn't obviously shed a very good light on the modern woman. But why do we have to shy away from that? And then the other thing too is, Alba's talking about how, like, he doesn't agree that Tate should have been deplatformed. I 100% agree with him as well too. But that is the reason why he was deplatformed, is because he was obviously saying uncomfortable truths about this narrative that the Matrix wants you to listen to. And then, of course, the Matrix doesn't want men to improve. That's the other thing too that needs to be said. Right? So, the fact that they don't want the men to improve, because think about it, guys, if men improve, become better, obviously we become independent, then obviously the Matrix loses control, because it's ultimately the men that actually has the ability to destroy the Matrix. Okay? All right. So let's begin. Keep going.
And I have a co-host. Okay, that girl is more feminist than I ever will be.
Yep.
And I brought her up.
Let's hope that.
And I brought up,
yeah.
And I brought up the Andrew Tate things. Like, you want to talk about Andrew Tate? She's like, I don't want to give more space to that person. I'm like, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
We're not giving him more. Anyways, what space does he have? He's the platform.
Yeah.
What publicity? You can't do it.
You're addressing things head on rather than sweeping them under the rug.
That's where you're missing it. We can't just talk about that shit. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Back to the whole premise of your show is, like, we talk about everything. Social issues, culture, taboo subjects. Let's get it out in the open.
Yeah, that's it.
Right?
But then again, I would talk about it on my other podcast. I would. Like, what do you mean we don't want to give more? No, let's talk about it, because there is something. Well, I'll get back.
Look, I'm not going to put words in your mouth. So this is from Abba and Preach. So I'm not sure who said this,
That's
but
fine.
regarding Tate, I know you said you agree with almost 70%, whether that's high or low, whatever. These are some of the terminologies or words that you guys have used on your channel. Again, not you. This could have been Abba, Preach.
Go ahead.
You said goofy, immature, corny like that to manipulate women. And his advice is not for the typical average guy.
Absolutely.
What do you have to say about those?
That's the things that I can agree with what he's saying.
Yeah.
But it's like, when you're talking about high value men and this purpose of high value men, most people are not high value. If we talk about money, if we talk about job, if we talk, that's not true. Most people that are watching are not that, are not people, owners of company, are not like.
Back to your CEO comment.
Back to the CEO and stuff like that. You're not that.
Well, one of the things I always say is most people are most people.
Most people are most people.
Exactly.
So you're not.
If you're talking about a high value man, it's top 10%, top 1%.
Everybody cannot be high value.
Correct.
Or else the term high value loses its purpose.
Yeah.
You cannot be high value. So whenever you're talking about, when you get a girl, don't do this, don't do that, and everything, you shouldn't pay for. That's not how the world works.
Right.
And you're talking about other people. Like it's like if you're addressing.
Let's pause something. There's a couple of things. So, like I said, I've reacted to Abba and Preach before. My wife and I has, guys. Go check out some of those videos where we reacted to it. I don't really disagree with these guys too much, but they sometimes look at it from a false sense. And a lot of these content creators that don't think about the truth and don't want to, see what's going on, the reality of the world, they don't want to actually, I guess acknowledge it. And I'll point that out. But real quick, I do agree with him in terms of, not being able to speak about it, right? He talked about how he had this other channel where he had this other, obviously content creator with him, and she didn't even want to, talk about Tate. And I agree with him. Like, there's no reason why we shouldn't talk about it. That's the worst way to have discussion, to even, to even look at life in general, is not talking about it, right? We definitely want to be able to have discussion. Now, whether I talked about this on my last video, guys, go check it out. Whether you should acknowledge it or not, I don't like the fact that we say, well, everyone's opinion matters per se. Yes, we can have opinions. Yes, we can have discussions, but not everyone's truth is my truth. I don't agree with that. Okay, so anyways, not to go more on that topic, but let's talk about this whole thing about the whole high value man and some of the comments that he talked about how, Andrew Tate's goofy and how he's manipulating women because, not everyone is high value to be able to do it. See, this in lies the problem with the mindset of this. You don't have to be a high value man to expect the same equal values from your other, your significant other, the woman, your wife, the girl that you're trying to date. And let me clarify this. What I mean is, let's say you're an average guy, average value, fives across the board, right? The fact that you cannot even demand equal value from the modern woman nowadays, that is the problem. That's the reason why men are walking away. That's the reason why, you have this whole, current state of affairs where men is just fed up, marriages rates are down. All the stuff we talk about on these RP channels all the darn time, right? It's because modern women don't even want to see the average man. They only want to see the top 10%, top 5% of men. So I get it. As the average man, your standards, your demand expectations of the values is not the same. But the average guy isn't asking for this. The average man is asking for the average woman to be happy with his average, right? His values. And therein lies the problem, is that the modern average woman is not happy with the modern average man. And it's because of all this freaking propaganda, feminist lies, all this matrix stuff that we talk about, right? Where I'm a 10, I'm an 11, I'm a 9,000, right? I'm a boss babe, I'm a queen, I'm freaking, big bone, but I'm still beautiful, right? I'm freaking body positivity, right? So you're indoctrinating a whole generation of women to believe that their values are so much more so than the average man. And so he's right. An average man can't expect to demand, a high value woman or command that high value woman to be attracted to him. But the fact that he can't even command or get an average woman to respect where he's at, that's the problem.
And you're addressing the most people in a 10% people package. There's a disconnect to me.
Right.
So when there's that disconnect, it is goofy.
It's like if you're addressing a room of 1,000 people, and the front row are all the CEOs and the C-suite executives.
But you're talking to
the whole rest of the room is just regular employees, salespeople, what have you. And you said, as this type of high-value man, this is how you need to operate. The front row is going to be like, all right, I feel you. But the 90% people in the back are like, bruh, I'm paycheck to paycheck, baby. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's what happened in a lot of companies. I'm not going to say most companies, but a lot of companies where when you have the CEO talking, the CEO is talking, and you have like table talks and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then townhouses, they used to call it when I used to work on customer service. So you meet with the CEOs and stuff like that. And he says something, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And they're really not, we're invited, but they're really not talking to me. They're talking with the investors. They're talking with the partners, really, because it's going to benefit you. But us, we're the ones working, the ones that are front line, we're going to end up with all the consequences of that. The workload and everything is the same thing. So when you're doing that to all those guys, it's kind of if you're taking advantage of that.
But do you think they're making it more attractive for men to strive to be more high value so they can have access to all the things that they talk about?
It's not going to happen.
But
it cannot happen.
Yeah, so I gotta repeat this because they're just not getting the point. Preach, Adam, probably her too. They don't understand that this is the current market. This is the current situation. You can say all, you can say the majority, but the majority, all women, 99.9% of women do not want the average man. So as a person that is trying to speak to men and saying, hey, you want the outcome. You want the outcome of the truth. You want to be able to attract another female so that way you can spread your legacy, right? Spread your genes to the next generation and have kids and have the best outcome. How are you going to do that? right? I'd love to hear these guys' solution to this problem, because what else can you say? You can't say, okay, well, just continue being average. You can't, because the woman is not going to even look at you as a viable candidate. So, right, so they're living in a delusional, they're living in the matrix. They're not understanding that this is the current reality that we live in. So unless they either, one, talk to the women, like some of, obviously, my channel does that. Obviously, some of the RP community channels talk to it, right? And say, hey, women, you need to improve. You need to understand that this is the truth. You need to understand that your values are diminishing because you've been led the wrong way. You've been led the wrong path by this feminism lie and this indoctrination, and you're lowering your value, and now you're no longer qualified to be wives. Or you can do what Tate is doing. You can do what Fresh and Fit's doing. You can do what some of these other content creators doing, and saying, hey, guys, this is the current market. You can either freaking like cry about it, walk away, incel or whatever, or you can improve your value so high or get it higher so that now you can actually fulfill the truth. These guys are doing men a disservice by saying that guys like Tate or guys like Fresh and Fit are not giving you the best advice, because it is the correct advice to get the outcome that we need. Now, like I said, I would love to hear them talking to women and saying, hey, women, you need to improve. But it doesn't seem like that's obviously a context, a subject. So
what can't happen though?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Everybody cannot get to that point.
Right, but do you think think about it, if nobody talks about it at all, of course that probability is much, much lower.
Definitely.
But now that there's more people talking about like, hey, if you can get yourself to this position, essentially these things are looked at as okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, is that the if is not said.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're a high value man, not if you get to high value. I understand absolutely. If you package it the way you just did, if you get to that point, and it's just one word.
But they do say that. They're like, listen, bro, you're fat. You got to get your shit together.
And that's the part that I agree.
Right.
Again, there's some parts that I agree. That's the part that I agree. That's fine. The take care of yourself, that's 100%. We cannot take that away from it. Yes, 100%. Take care of your shit. You can't be out there, you talk about, I can't get women, do you have a job? No. That's common knowledge. Absolutely.
Right.
It's the other part where you're talking about, when you start being outlandish, you talk about ex workers or whatever stuff. Oh, you people don't do this and don't, when they actually do. When you work long enough in the business and you work with those people that are actually high value, and saying that from the perspective of a guy that worked in a 5-star hotel serving those people, the people that got money, you know what goes on behind the door, you know what they do and what they actually pay for and what goes to their room. You're like, nah, that's not true. When you say, oh, high value shouldn't, they all do. I worked at the Grand Prix of Montreal.
Can you give like an example specifically?
I worked at the Grand Prix of Montreal.
I like how you said that.
Grand Prix Montreal. That's how you say it. The Grand Prix. Basically, it's the F1.
Don't say Grand Prix.
No,
right here.
Gotcha.
Grand Prix.
Okay.
But that's the thing, is that I worked at that one event. Everybody's there. We host Ferrari. We host all the big guys.
You're doing it.
We doing it. Let's go. Breakfast in the room, let's go. Next order, okay? Coffee, yes, okay, yes, please. All those high value people, those stars, you know at night who goes in the room.
Who's going in the room?
Yeah, who's going in there?
Ex-workers, left, right, and center, they all do it. And there's a reason why.
Ladies of the night.
Ladies of the night.
But isn't that what they talk about? Like they can get whatever lady they want. So isn't that like?
No, that's not what they said. They say specifically you should, as a high value man, and that's where our beef with Fresh and Fit started, when they said no, a high value man shouldn't pay for box, and I'm like,
they shouldn't.
They shouldn't.
Some do, but they shouldn't.
That's not what they said.
You're gonna pay either way. Let me tell you something.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, no.
Somebody who's familiar with luggage and boxes and suitcases.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, you're gonna pay one way or another.
You're gonna pay, and then you're saying like, yo, if you're doing that, you're not doing that. You're a simp. You're all this and that. That's where the beef started. When we said that's not exactly true. They high value people considered high value actually pay, and we just said that. Well, they went on another tangent, but we just said that.
Well, we're gonna talk about Fresh and Fit. We'll definitely talk about that. But I think just to sum up kind of what you're saying
Let's
with the high value
pause
man.
real quick. So let's kind of react to his comment about the whole fresh and fit beef, right? Let's be clear, because I reacted to that whole situation as well, guys. And really, the beef wasn't from the fact that they disagreed with the whole premise of does a high value man cheat or not. It was the whole more aspect of that Fresh and Fit took it personally that Abba and Preach did a hit piece on them after appearing on their show and being greeted, obviously, as friends on their show. And instead of maybe making a reactionary video, just like saying, hey, we disagree with Fresh and Fit on this premise, Preach is kind of capping here a little bit. He's kind of hiding what actually happened. No, they, a few months later, they made a hit piece on Fresh and Fit, how saying that these guys aren't kings and these guys, you shouldn't be listening to them because of that. So they weren't like, trying to make an objective thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Fresh and Fit obviously was in the fault by, reacting the way they did. They took, obviously personal attacks at Preach. They did ad hominem attacks, and they didn't attack the viewpoint. But, like I said, Preach is leaving a lot out in terms of his beef with Fresh and Fit. Like I said, he kind of did something I feel is pretty kind of shisty when you appeared on their show as supposedly friends or at least like cordial, and then months later you do a hit piece on them. So let's get that out of the boat first and foremost, right? Now, in terms of do high value men, obviously hire sex workers and do that stuff. Of course, yeah, 100%. A lot of high value men do it, but once again, it's two things can be right at the same time. You could be a high value man and do it, but that action doesn't make you a high value man. So let's once again, let me repeat that, right? You can be a high value man and do those activities, but that activity doesn't make you a high value man, right? And I think this is one of the things that, RIP to Kevin Samuels. I remember I did a reactionary video to his, explanation of that as well, too, because, Kevin Samuels, he broke it down in terms of why we do it, why men do it, especially why high value men do it, because, legal matters and, the current state of affairs, you don't want to get caught. You want to be discreet. I get all of that issues, guys. I get why, as a high value man and you want to have sex and, you want to freaking bust a nut and you want to be discreet and you don't want to get in trouble by, doing it with a mistress or whatever. I get all the legal reasons why you want to do it. But let's be real. It doesn't make you high value. You are simping. You are just paying for sex. Right? The woman isn't getting with you. She isn't exchanging her values with you because of your value. You're literally just paying for it. So that doesn't make you high value. So let's like I said, we keep conflating these topics, right? And guys like Preach, and Adam, like I said, this is not a diss on him because I don't think he's really RP aware yet either. I mean, he's having all these RP guys and he's just beginning his journey. And trust me, he's a friend of the RP community. I can see that, but he doesn't fully understand it yet, right? And he doesn't understand the truth 100% yet. So once again, like I said, two things can be right at the same time. Yes, high value men do low value things, but that makes that activity a low value activity. Doesn't make you high value. But yeah, you can still be high value regardless of that. Okay?
You familiar with the Pareto principle? The Pareto principle is essentially this. It's the 80-20 rule. It's that in any organization, the top 20% is doing 80% of the sales, making 80% of the money, getting 80% of the business. If you extrapolate that as far as social dynamics and men and women, the top 20% of men are getting 80% of the box. Okay? That's just kind of how it works. So if you strive for greatness and you become the top 20%, the top G, mate, you're going to get 80% of the women. That's just kind of how it is.
Absolutely.
And that's the beauty of capitalism. And not to get all economic here, is that in socialism, everyone's equal. This whole equality thing, we're all equal. But so that means there's no greatness and there's no below average. Everyone's fucking normal.
Absolutely.
The problem with that is if everyone's normal and we're all having a good time, who's cleaning up for after the party? Nobody. That's what socialism doesn't solve for. Capitalism says, listen, we'll all start off here. Some start off a little bit higher, some start off a little bit lower. Kind of is what it is. Life ain't fair. But if you work your ass off and you achieve status and you increase your value, you can become one of those CEOs or those bosses that is getting 80% of the money, the good times, the females, whatever it is. But if you bullshit and smoke weed every day and play video games, just make excuses, then you're going to be in the bottom fucking 20%, and best of luck. And essentially, I think whether it's Tate, Fresh and Fit, and everyone kind of communicates it differently, it's you got to get on your A game if you want the benefits of life. So if you like that clip, click right here to watch
that was a video,
or if you want to watch the entire song.
Once again, what did I just tell you, right? Adam is starting to become RP aware, but he literally just said things that if he would analyze it just a little bit more, he would understand the current state of affairs, right? The whole Pareto principle, right? 80-20. That is the current dating market. That is the current market, right? It's because of these feminism lies. It's because of these indoctrination. It's because of social media, right? These women, 80%, 90%, 100% of women has access to the top 20% of men now. The masking of the truth, the matrix lies, right? They haven't told women that all of them, 100% of them, deserve the top 20% of men, right? There was a time when I think both men and women, right? We talk about the old generation, your grandmother, your grandfather, right? There was a time when average people, below average people, understood where they stood in life. Just like Adam was saying, right? Like if you're a man and you're being told that, hey, if you get the top 20%, capitalism, right? If you become this top 20%, you have access to 80, 90%, 100% of the women. Men has always understood that. The problem is he didn't analyze the other side of the equation, the other coin of the equation. And this is where Abba preached. This is where people that don't understand it, Destiny, I can name so many other content creators that are trying to shame the RP community or disagree with the RP community or disagree with Andrew Tate. They're not looking at the other flip side of the coin, is that unfortunately the women don't understand that aspect. It's the women that don't understand that principle. They have to understand that, hey, if you're just the 80%, if you're the 90%, you don't deserve a 20% man. That's the truth. If you're a 4 and a 5, then you should be happy with a 4 and a 5 dude. And I guarantee you the majority of dudes out there that are 4 or 5s, if they would be able to be appreciated and respected by a 4 and 5 women, we'd be all in a better place right now. But that's not the case. And that is the problem. And that's the problem I have with these guys and these content creators that don't understand that truth. Okay, so guys, that was a good video. I think that was a very thing that we need to make sure that we understand and we clarify to everyone that tries to argue this, because I hear it all the time. Well, I agree with, the RP community, 90% of the time, 80% of the time, but this is the one thing I don't just, agree with. It's because you don't understand that fact. You don't understand that concept. So just make sure you guys get the whole complete picture. And then you can have a better understanding of the truth. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Join us as we give you guys a glimpse into our lives, give you guys advice, hopefully give you guys entertainment value as well too, and provide you guys better outcomes.
Yes.